#1 conservative talk show in America. He's America's anchorman, the conservative captain of the good ship Freedom Isn't Free, proving we can shout down any dissenting voices. It's the Richard Bastian Show.
Nice. Let's go to the phones. You're through to me, Richard Bastian.
I never thought I would see things in America that we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic, but our founding fathers were keenly aware of the fragility of freedom. When they framed our Constitution, they came to arm with having studied the history of every republic and the history of mankind. And they noticed that all of those experiments only had one thing in common, and it was this. Every single one of them had failed. And so they knew it fell to our country, the United States of America, to determine whether people could really govern themselves. Could we have a society based on the idea that our rights are God-given, not government-granted?
Hello once again from the dystopian monarchy of the United Kingdom. And today we are talking about conservative infighting, and we got some juicy drama for you in that lots of conservatives are now turning on the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro because they are pro-Ron DeSantis. And of course, although Trump lost the last election, a lot of people are still rabidly in favour of him. He's by far the most popular person in the Republican Party, the most popular Republican politician. But it's no secret that Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, people who consider themselves intellectuals of the conservative movement, they never liked Donald Trump. But just like most conservative movements, they prioritise unity above all else because they serve capital and they want to make as much money as possible. If you're Ben Shapiro, you can't then just come out and criticise Donald Trump for 4 years because that will really hurt the Daily Wire brand. But these people have been waiting for someone they feel can get rid of Donald Trump for good, and they think that is Ron DeSantis. And I think they're in for a bit of a rude awakening, as seen by the Twitter launch of his campaign and the subsequent, memes and stuff Donald Trump was throwing around, which were pretty funny, but also just show the uphill battle he's facing, because he's facing someone who has this cult of personality when he really doesn't. And although a lot of people like DeSantis, most people who like DeSantis also like Donald Trump, and they actually prefer Donald Trump if they had to choose between them. So there is a brewing civil war in the American conservative movement, and I actually predicted this was going to happen because, of course, we had that whole drama between Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro, and basically Steven Crowder framed it as, I'm going against Big Con, I'm going against the establishment, I want to be free to say what I want and not bow down to the Daily Wire and any other conservative that is in bed with the establishment. So I fully expect Steven Crowder to have full support for Donald Trump. Daily Wire will have full support for Ron DeSantis. And it seems at the moment the establishment of the Republican Party really want Donald Trump to lose the primary, whereas the base want him to win. And we're getting lots of people saying Ron DeSantis is a globalist. And I think it's going to get pretty messy. And it is already getting pretty messy, as we're going to see today, because conservatives are now turning on each other. And because this is so rare, we just have to enjoy it. Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, in my opinion, they're both as bad as each other. I don't really care who wins the primary. I'm just going to enjoy certain conservatives ruining their reputation, because if Donald Trump wins, and Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire crew have been coming out for DeSantis, they're not going to forgive that. And also, a dream scenario is Donald Trump wins the primary and then loses the general election, and then all the Trump supporters are going to accuse Ron DeSantis and his supporters of basically stabbing Trump in the back, and because he ran a campaign against him, they'll say that will have helped, like, Joe Biden win the election again. So as long as the Republicans don't win the election, this is like a huge win for the Democrats, that these people turning against each other could fundamentally destroy the Republican Party if they don't win. So that is something to look forward to. So we're going to look at Ron DeSantis' announcement, we're going to look at the reaction to it, and we're going to look at all these Republicans turning on each other with some nice appearances from the Quartering, Geeks and Gamers, haven't spoke about them for a while, turning on Ben Shapiro because they are big Trump supporters. But anyway, before we go any further, please like the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Follow me on Twitter at the Kavernacle. Also, the same username on Instagram. Also, check out my Patreon. I'm trying to build up as many $1 to $3 patrons as possible, and the benefits include exclusive content that's up there, exclusive podcast episodes that are coming, getting access to the Discord server and my Switch friend code, and also check out the second channel and check out my subreddit down in the description. So Elon Musk has completed his full arc from, I don't know, liberal centrist billionaire to full-on far-right billionaire, in that he hosted a Twitter space with Ron DeSantis to launch his campaign. But Ron DeSantis should really know better, because Elon Musk has been running Twitter terribly, fired so many engineers, so of course the Twitter space was an absolute mess, wasn't working. You could even hear Elon Musk accidentally saying that it wasn't working as well. Ron DeSantis kept getting demoted to listener instead of speaker, the mics weren't working. It was just all around a disaster. And it didn't take long for everyone to pile in with the memes. Joe Biden, Dark Brandon, getting in there, getting a jab in there about him launching his campaign, while showing pictures of Ron DeSantis's fake laugh and very exaggerated expressions he's become famous for. Donald Trump showing, I think it's like a SpaceX rocket launch with Ron DeSantis's campaign logo on it, blowing up before launch. Donald Trump's team even created like some parody where it had a bunch of random people in the Twitter space planning about overthrowing Donald Trump.
Can you hear me?
We can all hear you, George. Can you just hold on for a second?
Hilfa, I don't think they can hear me.
I can hear you fine, George. Just speak to the
I don't think George
microphone.
knows how to use Twitter.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Can I please make my big announcement now? Everyone just...
Hello?
Just shut up, George.
Can somebody just mute George?
Dick, could you try not to cough on the...
Okay, so how are we going to take out Trump, you guys?
Guys from the FBI, this is not a private call. This is a public Twitter space. Everyone can listen in.
God damn it.
Anyway, guys, we invited everyone to this Twitter space so Governor Ron DeSantis could...
Everyone just shut the hell up so I can make my announcement, okay?
So it's clear this was basically like red meat to everyone who hates Ron DeSantis. But then, of course, him and his wife actually released official campaign videos. But Ron DeSantis' team ran this really bizarre ad where Ron DeSantis' voice sounds like an AI, and I actually thought it was Joe Rogan for a sec. That's how weird it sounded. And throughout the video, you're seeing lots of video of Ron DeSantis, and for some reason, loads of videos of Elon Musk. I didn't know Elon Musk was running to be vice president.
This also means replacing the woke mind virus with reality, facts, and enduring principles. Merit must trump identity politics. We must return normalcy to our communities. America's a sovereign country. Our borders must be respected. Public deserves safe communities, and law and order must be maintained in American cities. We can't have inmates running the asylum, and we must reject attacks on the men and women of law enforcement. But we also understand governing is not entertainment. It's not about building a brand or virtue signaling. It is about delivering results.
I think Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk severely underestimated how much of the blue check marks on Twitter love Donald Trump, and love Donald Trump far more than they like DeSantis. So there was another campaign video, which was really corny, which his wife first posted before he posted it. And if you go on the comments, basically every single one is supporting Donald Trump. So Casey DeSantis, America is worth the fight every single time. First comment, true. Trump 2024. Trump made DeSantis. A picture of her basically being Lady Macbeth, I think. Someone saying, vote Trump. Yes, America is worth the fight, and we know who the fighter is. Donald Trump. So that is literally like all the comments. And then Ron DeSantis on his personal Twitter page posts the same ad saying, I'm running for president to lead our great American comeback. And again, all the replies are basically this. I think this is the sentiment people are going to see. Lots of people like DeSantis as the governor of Florida, but they love Donald Trump as the presidential candidate. So you have stuff like this, Donald Trump riding a bull. You're a great governor, but I'm going with President Trump in the primary. You've been the best governor Florida has ever had, and I genuinely wish you wouldn't leave us behind and run for president until 2028. Trump 2024. I speak for all Americans when we say we don't want you to run. Vote Trump. Trump 2024, Trump 2024 or bust. As a DeSantis supporter, I'm really surprised you are not stepping aside to allow Trump his 4 years. Then you come in for hopefully 8, giving the American people 12 solid years. Why would you do this? Now you are splitting votes and losing support. What advisor are you listening to that clearly has no common sense? It's Trump for me. You are forcing us to choose when we never had to begin with. I don't support or vote for grifters. Trump is the only man I'm voting for, period. Trump 2024 all day long. I think you're great and all, but knowing what they did to Trump, the classy thing to do would have been to endorse him, then shoot your shot in 4 years, especially after he endorsed you. Turning your back on him shows how out of touch you are with us. Welcome to the Fight Club, Meatball. That's a pretty good meme. I hope you endorse Donald Trump after you lose the primary. So like I said, the common sentiment is, I like you, Ron DeSantis. Don't run for president because I'm always going to choose Donald Trump over you. And one of those conservatives made an interesting point. It's like, who's telling you to do this? And I would actually completely agree with that. Like, who is telling Ron DeSantis to run for president right now? I understand he can't run for governor again. If I was his advisor, I would just say stay out of it. Continue getting popular as the governor. Let Donald Trump do what he does. If he loses, that's great for you. If he wins, he'll probably be terrible. And then you can run in the future. Ron DeSantis is only in his 40s. But what happens with a lot of these presidential candidates, they start getting a big ego and they think, it's my time. It's my time to be president. It's my time to run. And not taking into reality that Trump is way popular. Trump is polling so much better pretty much in every state. And there's pretty much no way he's going to win. And I just do not see the upside for DeSantis. The only way he could save his reputation is if he won the primary and then won the general election. Because if he loses the primary, he's going to be seen as a traitor forever. If Donald Trump wins, Donald Trump will say, you betrayed me, and won't give him any favors. If Donald Trump loses, DeSantis will be blamed. He's literally destroying his political career just to run for president right now. He can't be patient. But like I said, ego, too many people telling him he'll be president, too many millionaire donors. So again, he's ruining his reputation, and I don't mind, to be honest. If I was like a hardcore supporter of the Democrats, I'd be pretty excited by this prospect. Apart from the fact that they're running Joe Biden again, even though he wouldn't commit to running for 2 terms when he was first going up against Donald Trump. So then it leaves it all in the air that he can actually lose to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is insanely popular. People aren't as fervently anti-Trump because he's not the president anymore. People forget things after so many years. So I can easily see Donald Trump winning the election if they run Joe Biden, which they pretty much have confirmed they are, since no one else is running against him apart from, you know, RFK Jr. and Williamson, who of course is better than Biden, but she's never going to get a fair shot. There's not going to be any primary. But Trump has kind of created this whole like alternative conservative ecosystem for himself. And while a lot of people would promote Trump all the time, like Fox News, behind the scenes they absolutely despised him. Like we had those leaked Tucker Carlson texts recently where he talks about how much he absolutely hates Donald Trump. But on his show, he's pretty much praising him 24/7 because conservatives, like I said, serve capital, they'll get in line. Ben Shapiro was big against Donald Trump, if you guys remember, but then also he fell in line. And I think he started wearing like a Make America Great Again hat at some point. So did Glenn Beck as well, who was also against Trump because they realized that they better get in line or you're going to be ostracized. So now what you have is the whole Daily Wire crew, they're pulling for Ron DeSantis to win. Fox News also promoting Ron DeSantis. And it is a weird thing to say that Donald Trump is the anti-establishment Republican vote, considering he's a billionaire president. But it's very clear the actual political establishment, not just the general establishment, like in terms of the elite, they really don't like him. And they really don't like what he did as president. And they really don't like the way he speaks. But again, he's so popular with the base, it's going to be very, very hard, at least in the primary, to beat him. But like I predicted a while ago, it's going to get very, very ugly. And something I've always said about Ben Shapiro, and I think I tweeted about this the other day, is he's got to be super careful with the audience he is cultivating because he likes to throw around accusations of anti-Semitism at every left-wing person who doesn't completely agree with the actions of the Israeli state, but he doesn't care about anti-Semites on his own side, and he doesn't care about people pushing far-right rhetoric. Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles do it all the time. Ben Shapiro feels like he's safe at the moment, but then you get stuff like this. So he tweets, and this is how they're all turning against him. He tweets, "Tonight was a perfect encapsulation of the campaign. If you're obsessed with the optics of the Twitter Spaces glitch, then you're probably not going to vote DeSantis. If you're interested in political substance, DeSantis is likely your candidate." And here's a comment with 64 likes. "Like you Jews betrayed Jesus, we the people will not betray Trump." And then Ben Shapiro says, "I don't even know where to begin with this." And this guy is a Trump supporter. I checked out his profile. Other people saying, "Jews did betray and kill Jesus though." And this is literally like one of the oldest things that has been used to justify anti-Semitism in Christian countries, right? Because they blame the Jewish priesthood, they blame the crowd of Jewish people who chose Barabbas over Jesus, so it's like, the Jews killed Jesus. But it literally is some of the oldest anti-Semitism in the world, and now these people Ben Shapiro has been pandering to since Donald Trump became president are now turning around saying, "You're betraying Trump like the Jews betrayed Jesus. You're just like them." And that's this dangerous game Ben Shapiro has been playing, in that he thinks fostering a far-right audience, letting this far-right rhetoric flourish on the Daily Wire, he thinks it won't come back to bite Jewish people. Does he honestly not think that the center of all these anti-left conspiracy theories always go back to Jewish people? But now he's finding out, and he's acting like, I don't even know what to say. Come on, Ben Shapiro, call it out. And even when he does call out stuff like this, there's always the caveat. Like when he called out Kanye West, he starts talking about Rashida Tlaib. This guy is such an idiot because they'll never really accept him. Anyway, more replies to the original tweets. "You sound vaccinated. DeSantis is what you get when you prompt Chat GPT to make your political candidate." So Ben Shapiro then tweeted this. So it was from the Trump War Room, which said, "When Ron DeSantimonious facts come out, you will see that he is better than most Democrat governors, but very average at best compared to Republican governors." Ben Shapiro saying even Cuomo did better is one of the dumbest things ever uttered. Also, he's using absolute numbers of deaths rather than adjusted for population of the states, which is ridiculous. They're talking about how different states handled the pandemic. But now Trump supporter the quartering comes to Ben Shapiro and says, "We get it, Ben. You love Ron." Ben Shapiro quote tweets him, lots of drama, "Please explain why Trump is right and Cuomo outperformed DeSantis on COVID. I'll wait." Quartering replied, "Just get the vaccine, dope." Shapiro replied, "Still waiting." But other people replying to this tweet just wrote, "Ben has become arguably the most annoying, biased Ron DeSantis simp out there. Yet Ron is only going further down the polls. That's got to be frustrating for Ben." And then in comes another anti-SJW influencer, D-Day Cobra, "Trump 2024, little Ben." And what is so ironic about that is Jeremy and Ryan Kinnell from Geeks and Gamers have actually hosted the Daily Wire. Like, they did a whole episode about gaming on the Daily Wire.
And we'd love any support that you guys want to send our way. Thank you for having us.
You'll catch me on Geeks and Gamers all the time. You'll also catch us on Sports Wars, which is a big sports channel that we are continuing to grow there, where we're calling out woke nonsense. And then for any of my personal stuff, just search RK Outpost on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find it.
And now he's coming after Ben Shapiro for being pro-Ron DeSantis. Someone replying to him, Jeremy unironically agreeing with Trump that Andrew Cuomo did better than DeSantis on COVID. He's saying, literally never said that. In fact, I've said the exact opposite. Nice leftist mentality you have there. Someone has a different opinion, then you make stuff up. Amazing. Then he quote tweets it saying, leftist de-simp logic. I've consistently said DeSantis is the best in the country as governor, and Trump is wrong to criticize what he did in Florida, but it's still Trump 2024, and that ain't changing. Then he tweeted out the video of Donald Trump trolling the DeSantis Twitter space, saying, I never realized just how boring Ron DeSantis is until now. DeSantis desperately using Elon Musk to launch his campaign is hilarious. Dude ain't ready for Trump. So it's just really funny to see all this infighting on the conservative influencer space, but more replies to Ben Shapiro's tweet about the video from the Trump War Room. You are sold, Ben. I unfollow you, and I recommend everyone who believes that you betrayed Donald Trump. So Ben Shapiro has been tweeting a lot of polls that have Ron DeSantis doing better against Biden than Trump. And then he tweeted, the 2024 Republican primary is a contrast. DeSantis will attack Trump on substance. Trump will attack DeSantis on personality. That's already obvious. We'll see which one Republicans care more about. The replies are, tell me you're paid off without telling me you're paid off. Are you doing never Trump like in 2016? You helped Biden win. You have no credibility. But moving on from Ben Shapiro, you have other far-right influencers on Twitter. Ian Miles Chong. Ron DeSantis is a born leader. Trump is a reality TV star. Elect a leader and not a celebrity. Loads of people turning on him. Crazy how fast you turned on Trump. You were never MAGA. Stay out of our politics. Be an influencer in your own country. DeSantis is literally running on Trump's message like a mini Trump. Did Trump hurt your feelings? So we're only in the first week of Ron DeSantis announcing he's running for president. We're already getting all these Republicans turning on each other, and it feels like the message of Ron DeSantis being the establishment is working, like saying it's like Elizabeth Warren for Republicans. And I said this would happen. I said this with Steven Crowder versus the Daily Wire. It really is this brewing civil war of the alleged establishment versus the anti-establishment. Then the funny thing is, because conservatives always put on a united front, most people who watch Daily Wire also watch Steven Crowder, despite the fact they are a bit different in tone and language and stuff like that. It's pretty clear this war is going to have people siding with either side, and Daily Wire are firmly being, painted now as like the media establishment. And I guess that's what happens when you start making movies and so much money. I guess the main thing could be that Steven Crowder could gravitate towards more of like an America First audience. And I don't think the Daily Wire necessarily cater to that audience, because of course they will promote people like Donald Trump when it suits them. But ask yourselves, if you've been, looking from a distance, or like myself covering Daily Wire content, have they really been promoting Donald Trump recently? Like, they haven't, and a lot of them are gravitating more towards Ron DeSantis, and people have actually been pretty mad about that. Like, when Ben Shapiro was talking about Kanye and Donald Trump meeting, a lot of them were saying, well, you're just using this to make sure Trump never gets elected. You want Ron DeSantis. So I think there is going to be a split in the conservative movement more broadly, where in the run-up to the election, when they decide who they're going to choose for the next president, because regardless of what Donald Trump does, he's announced that he's going to run. So if these people don't back Donald Trump, then there's going to be a split. And by the looks of things, I don't think the people on the Daily Wire are going to back Donald Trump, apart from maybe Candace Owens, unless it's a certainty he's going to win the primary, while someone like Steven Crowder, even if he just wants to grift off it, will probably endorse Donald Trump against DeSantis if it comes down to it, and then he can siphon off that audience for himself. And especially if Donald Trump loses the primary, then that is a big opening for someone like Steven Crowder to steal even more of the Daily Wire audience and paint them more as selling out the conservative movement, because we all know they're going to say stuff about like Ron DeSantis being like a big tech shill, or being in bed with like anti-conservative business, despite all the things he's doing in Florida at the moment. And billionaire ex-president Trump is the anti-establishment. Governor of Florida Ron DeSantis is the establishment. And the only thing I'll grant them is, of course, the traditional political establishment does want Ron DeSantis, and maybe the business establishment does, because he's a more conventional politician, more conventional Republican. Trump is a bit of a wild card in some ways, because he just does whatever he wants and he doesn't really listen to anybody else. So there's that. But I think this is going to get worse and worse and worse. And I really just hope it turns off so many Republicans from the Daily Wire, because I feel like that's the path they're going. Because Donald Trump is going to debate Ron DeSantis, and Donald Trump is going to say a bunch of crazy stuff about DeSantis anyway. And if they get into an actual debate, I don't even know if Trump has said he's doing one. The stuff he's going to say is going to be so outrageous to establishment conservatives. They're going to go hard against him. But maybe we'll see what happened last time. Maybe as Trump pulls away with the lead, these conservatives will all back down. They'll start saying, we got to unite behind the candidate. But are we at a different time now where they won't forgive them? And also, if Donald Trump loses the primary, will his supporters want him to run third party? And that could be like literally one of the most effective third party runs in American political history. It will probably completely sink conservatives, but that's something I'd like to see as well. But no, my prediction is the rhetoric will ramp up from the establishment side. Against Donald Trump, Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire will be leading the charge. But like I said, as Donald Trump pulls away, it looks like he'll be the nominee. they'll probably back down because conservatives always unify in the interest of capital, and I suspect they'll do that again. The only difference is, will Trump supporters forgive them? And I don't think they will, actually. And if Trump loses the general election, they are never forgiving people like Ben Shapiro for being pro-Ron DeSantis, and I effectively believe anyway Ron DeSantis is ending his political career by running against Donald Trump. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you think of Ben Shapiro versus the quartering and Geeks and Gamers. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.